The reverse retro curse continues as the Habs lose a nail-biter 5-4 to Ottawa, but we had some bright spots including Nixk Suzuki, Rafael Harvey-Pinard, and Kirby Dach, and we'll be breaking all of that down on this edition of Habs Digest. Hello, bonjour, ahoy, and welcome to today's game reaction edition of Habs Digest. I'm your host, Josh Gosse, alongside my co-host, Jesse Poirier. Quick reminder before we get into the video, as always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, whether you're a new viewer or a returning viewer. We'd really appreciate the support. Jesse, 2 games against Ottawa back-to-back on 2 nights rest as we head into the All-Star break now. We were hoping for maybe a nice win or at least some positives to come out of this game, and unfortunately came right down to the wire with some bounces really not going Montreal's way as the reverse retro curse continues, as I mentioned, as we lost 5-4. But one bright spot that I noticed, I'm sure everyone watching noticed, is Rafael Harvey-Pinard. What do you think, his energy, his skill set has brought to Montreal in terms of just elevating everyone else's level of play?
Brought so much to this team, and really, as we saw, Josh, in that third period, did you kind of feel like they were going to tie it up there?
Oh yeah,
because I certainly felt that way. We could feel that momentum. The crowd was starting to get into it, and not only did they tie it up once, but they did it twice. Off the stick of Rafael Harvey-Pinard. And what I really liked is that you could sense this was coming because it was the effect of his play over the course of the game. Mm-hmm. I really felt like he was wearing down the opposing team, with the likes of, obviously, Michael Pezzetta playing hard, Alex Belzil. A lot of these guys from Laval have brought a very strong work ethic to their game, which really pays dividends over the course of the game.
I would argue it's not even just his effort over this game. It's his effort since he got called up. This guy, no matter what line he's been on, has elevated other people's level of play. When he was playing with Michael Pezzetta and Alex Belzil, that line was getting point after point after point, game after game. Harvey-Pinard is now up to 5 goals in 7 games played for Montreal. Not even Cole Caulfield did that when he first came up to the squad. This guy, once dubbed Lavaliger, is something I don't think we can call him anymore because he has really seemed like he might be, I don't know about a stable, but he has really shown that he deserves to be on this Montreal roster going forward. And Jesse, were you as surprised as I was to see he was going on the first line in this game? But, I was super surprised, but I gotta say, the results were there.
They were. And I think it was a great choice because, as I was mentioning to you earlier, it's like he brought life back to Suzuki. We saw he was struggling a little bit. Who knows, what's really going on right now, but he looked like a completely different player. They were both of them responsible for getting points on the board, but also drawing penalties, being very active. So I think it was just such an overall great effect having him on that first line.
Yeah, you're exactly right. 2 people that I wanted to highlight who had tremendous effort tonight compared to the last few games are Suzuki and Anderson, and I don't think it's a coincidence that Harvey-Pinard was the guy playing with him tonight to make that happen. He had 2 goals. First goal on a beautiful, beautiful pass from Suzuki, and the second one, his own shot was just sitting in the crease, and he did exactly what he needed to do, crashed and put it in. But unfortunately, Jesse, it wasn't enough to seal the victory. Yeah, he tied it up twice, but Ottawa was just too much to handle, and I can't help but wonder if those 2 early goals in classic Jake Allen fashion, they came back to haunt Montreal later in the game. I thought Allen after that was okay, but man, do you think Montreal's slow starts that have been a theme throughout this season are really contributing to their losses? Because I think that's something, if Montreal gets under control, maybe it could lead to a few more wins down the road.
Yeah, it has been a theme so far this year. It's kind of tough to see, but Jake Allen was definitely much, much better after those 2 first kind of initial goals. But yeah, that was probably the difference tonight. Also with with Ottawa just having a really good power play.
Really good power play. And speaking of power plays, tonight was interesting, Jesse. Early in the game, we had some power play chances, and I saw some people saying, no joke, saying, why does Alex Burrows still have a job? And that's something I've kind of wondered myself sometimes throughout this season. But it seemed like whoever said that, thank you, because you seem to have broken a curse. Montreal gets 2 power play goals tonight. One from Kirby Dach, assisted by Mike Hoffman, and then Mike Hoffman himself gets a goal in the second period on the power play. Did you see anything different from our power play tonight? Do you think it was just the guys were clicking? Do you think it was Ottawa's bad penalty kill? Or do you think Montreal just came into this game against Ottawa, this rivalry, with a little more energy and it ended up paying off?
Well, I definitely like seeing Dach on the power play. I think that he's a great addition there. And I think Hoffman as well, he had a beautiful, beautiful goal tonight, great shot. And this is somebody that can score. Obviously we're not looking that side as much, obviously, when we're having Caulfield there. But we know that Mike Hoffman's somebody that can put it in the back of the net, and I was really happy to see that tonight.
Yeah, when he can put it on target, like I like to call him theoretical goal scorer Mike Hoffman. He has the power to do it. The problem is he misses the net and he makes a lot of questionable plays. There was a few times this game where he made a drop pass to no one and scared the crap out of me, but he managed to get a goal and an assist, so maybe up in his value before the trade deadline. And I must say that on that Hoffman power play goal, Dadonov made a nice play as well. Other than that, I mean, it was an interesting game, right? I think this came down to a lot of bad luck from Montreal. And I think it was a really unfortunate end because the fact that last goal, if you guys weren't watching, it was 4-4 until about a minute and a half left when Tim Stützle and Brady Tkachuk come out on a break. Stützle to Tkachuk, and he takes a wrist shot, and it hits David Sava's skate and deflects past Jake Allen to make it 5-4 Ottawa with a minute and a half left. I mean, that's been another thing, Jesse. Sometimes we haven't been able to close games. In overtimes, late in the third, it feels like Montreal gets a little lackadaisical. It looks like we are very motivated in certain parts when the crowd is rallying behind us. For example, even with the empty net tonight, 6-on-5, it looked like we were creating chances. I just feel like sometimes with Montreal, for a team that doesn't have that, I mean, we have 20 wins heading into the All-Star break. For a team that doesn't have that many wins, they seem to get a little overconfident in themselves. Am I crazy out to lunch here, or have you been seeing something similar too with Montreal sort of ups and downs in performance over the course of games?
I think that there is something to that, and I think that I would chalk that up to just some inexperience with the team a little bit, which is why even with this rebuild, I am a big fan of keeping some veterans around. I think that's really important. Mm-hmm. But, a little bit of bad luck, right? Hitting Sava's skate. If it's not hitting his skate, that Allen is getting that save after, he rebounded in that second and third period. So, some bad luck. And I would say that this Montreal Canadiens team isn't nearly as bad as their records show. And the reason that I feel that way, Josh, is because we're one of the most injured teams over the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. Like, just our amount of bad luck that has really happened, that has affected our positions in the standing. I don't think that we have a terrible team. I just think that we're getting injured quite a bit. And I don't think that that's something that's just going to last forever. I don't feel like this is some sort of plague of injuries that is just going to, like a cloud that's just going to hover over the Canadiens for years. I think that, they're going to get their luck back from this. They're going to get their players, their good players that they have. They're going to be healthy, and we're going to have better seasons as a result of that. Once we include some younger players, obviously some good drafting as well, which we've already done.
Yeah, I think you're right about that too. Now, obviously, there have been questions, especially as of late with the injuries to Slafkovsky and Caulfield, about the Montreal Canadiens training staff, because it's no coincidence that Montreal, well, it might not be a coincidence that they have been the most injured team. They've had the most back injuries of anyone in the league. So that's a topic maybe for another day, another video. We've spoken a bit about that before, about, Montreal being a little more injury prone than other teams. But yeah, you're right. A lot of bad luck with this team this year. And Montreal is still 20, 27, and 4, which is, it's not a spectacular record. In fact, it's the bottom of the Atlantic. But it's a very similar record to the Vancouver Canucks, who I'm sure a lot of people, I think they're 20, 26, and 3, almost identical record to a team that coming into the season people had pegged as maybe someone that would knock on the playoffs door. But yeah, I think you're right. Some bad luck. And one thing I wanted to touch on right before we clue up this video, Jesse, I wanted to talk a bit about Arber Xhekaj and a bit of a what-if situation tonight. Brady Tkachuk comes in, gives some shots to Arber Xhekaj, at one point a little cross-check to the back, and then runs away to the bench in classic Tkachuk family fashion. I mean, how badly did you want to see Xhekaj and Brady drop the mitts? Because like you pointed out to me, it seemed like the refs stopped them.
Yeah, what was up with that? I really wanted to see that at the end of the first period. All they're doing is delaying the inevitable, because I can't wait to see that happen. And that's why I'm excited with this game, even though we didn't get the W tonight. I just love seeing that rivalry building, with the Sens and the Habs, two young teams close by, but also between Xhekaj and Tkachuk. Because that they're going to be dropping the gloves one of these days, and that's going to be an epic tilt.
Yeah.
Let's just say in the preview, though, I like how X got the best of him, kind of knocking off his helmet a little bit there. So to be continued on that one, I can't wait.
Oh, I can't wait either. That is going to be so exciting. It's we'll be making a video about that, I'm sure, as soon as it happens. Montreal and Ottawa seem to hate each other, and they're two young teams, so I'm sure they'll be hating each other for many, many years to come. But that'll do it for this game reaction edition of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate your support, and we hope it continues long into the future. I'm Josh Gosse for my co-host Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.